Hello, good morning, and happy Wednesday, everyone. It's the Plant-Based Morning Show. Today's Wednesday, November 15th. This show runs every Tuesday through Thursday, except for next Tuesday through Thursday because it's Thanksgiving. Haven't yet figured out how we'll adapt, but we certainly won't be doing the show on Thanksgiving. I can tell you that much. Anyway, we're sponsored by Compliment. LoveCompliment.com is the place to get vegan supplements and provisions and things that will make you better and healthier. Prevent and reverse all kinds of diseases. I'm going to make that bold claim. See if Doug can come on and say that. Actually, no, we can't say that. That would be strongly asterisked statement. Of course, I'm kidding. We can't say that.
It may help. It may help support your long-term health and long-term chronic disease prevention. I think if we had a may and support in there, I think we're good.
Do we have to say may provide nutrients commonly missing from a plant-based diet? May provide nutrients.
I don't know if we need to do that one. I think that one. I think we're safe with that one. It will provide nutrients commonly missing from a plant-based diet.
Okay.
But just to be clear, we say this all the time, but for new listeners, we're not sponsored by them. We are them. This is us.
That's right.
We are Compliment. Yeah.
We are ad-free except for our own promotions of our own thing.
That's right.
But yeah, no, that's a good thing.
And support us. Go to lovecompliment.com. And support yourself. Right. Support your own diet.
Support yourself in disease prevention and reversal.
Did you lose me in?
Instagram has gotten loading.
Yeah, here we go.
But now it's back. Okay, Instagram's still spinning for me, so you may need to re-enter again or something, but that's okay. Instagram doesn't really matter. That's just maybe it matters for you, Doug, because you hear the Instagram sound. Hey, Juliana's here. Hello, Juliana. One of our family team at Compliment, the designer who makes everything look very nice. Also, hello to Brandon Turner, Danielle P, Kate, Allie, Britters, Annie Amato, Dale Stevens, and of course, Juliana. All right. Anyway, if you're on Instagram, I apologize. It's just not working at all right now. So go over to youtube.com/nomadeathlete to get the real show where comments are much more plentiful and it's better quality, everything. So do that. Sound especially.
I'm actually going to get off of the Instagram because it's
okay. So I'm going to close out Instagram. If you're one of the few people on Instagram still, go to youtube.com/nomadeathlete. Much nicer sound and video. Okay.
All right. Now that's settled. Hey, everybody.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Anne-Marie's here. Stephen Dunn has checked in since I last listed the names. So, yeah. Good. Everything's good. Anything, Doug, today? We got, interesting stuff in the weather report. I don't even think you probably saw the things I've just recently added. But nothing too much else. I made a recipe yesterday. Actually, Aaron and I worked together to make a recipe from Plant-Based News. They had a I'm gonna have trouble getting it. It's made out of it's a butter bean stew thing. It has carrots, kale. I've been wanting to make it for a while. It has lemon zest in it. It's called lemony and lemon juice. And it was quite good. It was very simple, good weeknight meal. It was good. We got our Rancho Gordo Bean Club shipment yesterday, so that was perfect timing. We were able to use their Christmas lima beans, as they are called, in the stew, and that was a good thing.
We had burritos last night.
Shocking.
Actually, it's probably been a couple of weeks since we made burritos at home.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a little shocking. And you know what? The girls freaking devoured them.
Oh yeah.
Eliza had 2. Chloe had a full big old burrito. So we're building a burrito family.
Yeah, it seems like it. Did you have an apple pie for dessert? Is it one of those nights?
No, unfortunately, didn't pick up an apple pie.
Okay. All right.
But we did have a text chain going yesterday afternoon with everyone who we'll be eating Thanksgiving dinner with about what pies we should make for dessert. And and I suggested we just go to Ingles and grab an apple pie. Nobody seemed to like that idea. Everybody wanted to make homemade pies.
Don't buy pies like that. They make pies. This is what you do. It's how you limit yourself from eating too much pies. You make it, and then you're not going to do it very much. What was that other pie? Did you suggest that crazy one you mentioned?
The shoe fly pie? I did, and we might actually make that one.
People like that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So good.
Good. All right. Why is it called shoe-fi pie? You have any explanation?
Because it's just
etymology.
It's just it's a Dutch. I think it's an old Dutch recipe.
Okay, Steven would know about that.
Maybe I may be wrong about that. And I assume that it's because it is so sugary and molassesy that it would attract a bunch of flies, and you'd be like,
Shoe
shoe
fly.
fly.
Okay, I was thinking shoes, like flies
No,
around shoes.
SHOOFLY.
Right, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Okay,
Shoe
that makes
fly,
sense.
don't
Yeah,
bother
I'm sure
me.
flies like molasses. Isn't that a thing? Like flies on molasses or something? I don't think so. Maybe not. Should be. Okay. So yeah, we'll skip with that. And your race is now only, is it Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday, 4 a.m. Saturday morning. So the countdown is begin. I'm officially looking at the weather and like feeling pretty confident in the weather. We're at that stage.
So you have 4 a.m. So I mean, it's only like 2.5 days from now. You're going to be running.
Yeah, 2.5 days.
Okay.
Man, I was like doing the math and like planning out that morning. I think I'm gonna have to wake up at around 2:30 in the morning, which is just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, that is really crazy.
It's like, how do you even go to bed? Like, should you even go to bed?
I don't know.
Is it better to get 4 hours of sleep, kind of restless sleep the night before a race, or none?
No, I think it probably is better to get any. But then Mike Arnstein used to say that it was the night before the race that really mattered for sleep. And that's probably why, because that night of, I remember he would also start weeks in advance, start going to bed at like 8 o'clock so that he could be on that schedule. You didn't do that probably.
I have not done that. No.
But who could do that really? That's crazy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I'd say make sure you get a good sleep the night before, which is like tonight, right? Or tomorrow night.
Yeah. Tonight, my goal is to be in bed, lights out, 9:30 tonight and tomorrow night.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's gonna be a wild one.
Yeah, and you'll share the link where we can all follow along.
That's right. Share in the Discord.
Discord.com. No, nomeatathlete.com/Discord where you can find that goodie, that Easter egg.
Yeah.
Stephen has Googled it, and it said shoe-fi pie was originally called Centennial Pie and made first to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
Is that the U.S. Declaration of Independence?
Right. Okay, he says, I've never heard of it. Definitely not a Dutch pie. I mean, the name shoe-fi pie certainly doesn't sound like a Dutch pie. It sounds like a Southern thing. But I thought maybe they changed it, and it was Centennial. So Centennial, that would have been 1876 when they made that thing first. There you go.
I wonder if it's more common in certain parts of the U.S.
Yeah, probably. Sounds Southern to me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we got more good weather report stuff today, and I wouldn't say it's as lengthy as yesterday, but some interesting things. So let's jump in. Don't know about music today. May not be happening, but it might decide to join us in a little while.
Okay, here we go. Hold on.
Yeah.
Before we move on.
Okay.
It's a classic Pennsylvania Dutch pie.
Oh, okay.
Containing molasses.
So that is Dutch. But in some form. People who came from
U.S. Dutch.
Yeah.
All right.
But that just means immigrants from regular Deutschland.
Right. Yeah.
Regular Netherlands / Holland. Yeah. Why does a country have two names? It doesn't make sense. I mean, it just should be one. Okay. Steven, answer us that. Why does it have two names and then called Dutch a third thing? It doesn't make any sense. All right, here we go. Here's the big news. The headliner: Beyond Meat is in survival mode with a quote going concern risk possible for the plant-based pioneer due to deteriorating trends in its business and negative cash flow, according to a TD Cowen report. I'm just reading here from fooddive.com. So that's exactly their words, not mine. I think so. Basically, they have these risks. They downgrade things, they upgrade things as far as their financial health, and going concern is for some reason a category, and the risk of that is possible. So I think they're not even in going concern yet, but they're getting closer, and so it's possible. Says TD Cowen, who I've also not heard of, but I assume that's just a stock market industry analyst thing. As we know, Beyond Meat reported negative sales growth for the 6th quarter in a row just recently. They said that it doesn't look like troubles at Beyond Meat will subside anytime soon, and Ethan Brown himself said that they anticipate having the same challenges going forward as they're currently dealing with. They're not out of the woods at all. The other factors: loss of market share in plant-based meat, struggles to attract and retain customers, despite lower pricing and more promotions, rising debt, declining sales, and there's confusion around whether the products are nutritious or not, what they're made of. It's expensive. I mean, it's not looking very good right now for Beyond Meat.
It's a lot of hurdles to overcome.
Yeah.
I wonder what exiting certain product lines means.
Yes. Did we say that, or was that just in the article?
That was in the article.
Yeah.
Ethan Brown is considering exiting certain product lines in the U.S.
It probably means they're going to stop printing the box that says Smash Burger and Stacker Burger and just start putting that in the regular boxes because it's the same burger. Thing. Yeah.
I mean, really, they only need two products, 3 products, 4 products.
The sausage is their best one. You can't lose that one. The sausage is
the best one. The burger, because that's kind of what they're known for.
It's classic.
The steak, because I dig the steak, even though I've only purchased it twice.
Okay.
They could lose the steak. I've only purchased it twice, but I like it.
Mm-hmm.
And then and they don't even need the ground beef because they have the burger is
right. They don't. The ground beef seems weird. You don't.
So just 3. Just 3. Sausage. The sausage is the best. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. The sausage, and only one variety of the sausage. They taste the same. I mean, they're not, but one. Yeah, they could definitely cut some SKUs there. We should do some sort of consultation for them. See if we can turn around them company.
Yeah, they should bring us in.
Turn around experts. Yeah, we know this industry better than anybody because we talk about it every day.
We talk about it every single day or 3 days a week.
Used to be every day. Now it's 3 days a week. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I don't want to say I told you so, but I kind of predicted the complete decline of plant-based meat a little while ago when everyone said, it's just a little bubble or a little, negative thing. It's growing. No, I don't know. And even if Beyond Meat went under, I mean, it wouldn't be because they can't sell any meat. It's because, or fake meat. It's because financial stuff, right? There's who knows what the investment situation is there and all that, and the debts and all that. Their failing wouldn't mean plant-based meat can't survive because possibly someone would do it a different way and it would. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens 5 years from now. What the plant-based meat world looks like.
I mean, part of the problem. I mean, when has a company that is, I'm going to call it revolutionary, right? Like it was a pretty unique new idea.
Yeah.
To have some like a burger like this that actually tastes and feels like a burger.
Yeah, for sure.
Yet at the same time, another company is doing the exact same thing, and all of their products are essentially the same for the most part.
Right.
And so they're fighting not only for awareness about their product, this kind of new innovative product, but they're also fighting for the exact same customers, and they're fighting for the exact same partnerships with different restaurant chains and stuff like that. Like I feel like it's kind of unusual that the two companies would have paralleled so similarly when it's kind of a new idea.
Yeah, I don't have enough perspective to know if that's right or not, but it seems right. It seems like if you have an innovation, the patents and all that other stuff would tend to protect you for a little while, but they didn't seem to have any real edge. It's just at the same time, Impossible came along. Yeah. I don't even know who was first. They just came at the same time. You have to imagine if there was just one and then a bunch of smaller ones, they'd be getting all the partnerships with all their fast food restaurants and that. You think that because you don't hear so much bad about Impossible, so that must be working for them. I don't know. Who really knows? We'll see. We will see what happens. Yeah, and I mean even all the smaller ones have caught up, right? Like it's not. They all are very much meaty tasting burgers now.
Yeah.
Maybe the technology is just not really that hard. Just took some sort of vision. Yeah, and sometimes being first isn't best because you have to do all the work and just come in later. Yeah. Anyway, who knows? All right, moving on to a company that is doing the opposite, thriving. Slutty Vegan, which I failed to go to in Atlanta this weekend.
Your hot take on Slutty Vegan is just way off.
What is it?
Well, just that,
I
like,
don't have a hot take. I said that is
no,
someone
I
did
mean,
it.
you've never, you're like, slutty vegan's not gonna survive. I think that's a direct quote. No one will ever
I
eat at a
don't
place
think.
called Slutty Vegan.
Yeah,
That was
right.
like, I'm pretty
Right.
sure that you said those exact words.
No, I
So,
didn't. I said they're doing. I said they found a niche and they're killing it within that niche. No doubt about it. I'm not in the niche. It's just not interesting to me. The branding and the food are not things I would seek out. But they're doing great, and they're opening in Baltimore. We said that
Yep.
a couple weeks ago. Well, now the news is that Pinky Cole, the founder, is combining her 2 restaurants because she has one called Bar Vegan as well. I think that's the one that had the legal troubles with employees and things. But anyway, she's combining those 2 things into one in her hometown of Baltimore, Maryland. It's that thing. It's on. I think it's called something Peninsula, Baltimore Peninsula. She's working with Kevin Plank from Under Armour and other people, Goldman Sachs Asset Management, Urban Investment Group. So because Under Armour, Kevin Plank, just big player in Baltimore. I don't know why he's involved in this, but I think he does a lot of development type stuff work now. I don't know. But anyway, it's kind of cool. I mean, cool for Baltimore just because I grew up around there.
Why is it cool to combine it? I don't get it. Like, what's?
I just think it's cool that it's her hometown city and she's making a special slutty vegan location there that is both. But no, I don't really get. She says they'll be in the same place, so it doesn't. It's just gonna be both places probably. So if you Google vegan near me, you probably see both, and they're in the same building. Or the bar.
Got it.
I mean, I don't know. So I'm seeing
Good
sure
little
practice.
vegan hub.
Yeah, right. So maybe that would inspire more vegan stuff. Who really knows? But
what is Bar Vegan? Is it like drinks or is it?
I don't know. I don't think so. I bet it's. I mean, I bet they have drinks, and I bet it's mostly food.
Sprouse Juice Bar Vegan Cafe. Oh no, never mind. That's something different.
Well, I like the branding of Bar Vegan much better than I like Slutty Vegan. I'll tell you that much.
Bar Vegan looks a little edgy, like Slutty Vegan. Quesadillas, the Bar Vegan Taco Trio. The first thing that comes up, I'm here for it. This is great.
Okay. My mom, on the way she came to met.
Uh-oh, we lost Matt. Don't worry, everybody. You still have me. Hope everybody. Hope you can hang on for just a minute. Matt somehow got cut out. We'll have him come back in. In the meantime, let's hear some comments. How's everybody doing today? It's Wednesday, hump day. Don't really have any stories prepared here, so I'm not really sure what to do. Okay, he's back. Hey, you're back.
I'm back. That's weird. I don't know what happened. It just said you were disconnected. Never happened in a whole year. People are talking about pull-ups though. Look at all this.
I know. I was like, I don't know what to do. And Anne Marie said that without Matt, you can see my pull-up rings, and then Mr. Jeffrey wants me to bust them out.
Yeah. And then Juliana says, "How are you preparing for the run?" Steven is going to bed. All right. Anyway, that will have to happen later, but we will hold you to that, Doug. We do want to see pull-ups, which are, I think they're really chin-ups. Emery said it best. They technically are chin-ups that you're doing. We'd like to see those by the end of the year. No matter how fast you run or what. We don't care. We want to see chin-ups. All right. Anyway, what were we saying? We were saying something. Oh, my mom in Atlanta. She came there to meet me, watch my son's games. She said, well, maybe I'll go to Slutty Vegan on the way home to Florida because she would be driving right past there. So she did. And she texted later and said, I didn't go. It looked sort of weird. It was all like spray painted and stuff. And but that's the logo, like the branding is spray painted. So she just said it. I think the branding missed her, and she thought it was just like didn't look like a good spot because it was like that. But I thought it was funny because that is of course what they are going for. Okay. Anyway, on to the next thing. These stats are never that interesting, but they're always worth saying, I think. And they're always in Europe, which is okay. But this is significant. The out-of-home plant-based meat sales in Europe's big 5 countries, which is Germany, France, the UK, Italy, and Spain, have increased by 48% since 2019. And that's a lot, I think. I mean, if the 2019 number was tiny, then a 50% increase in a tiny number isn't that meaningful. So maybe it's not that meaningful, but still up 50% shows that the trend is growing. It didn't just, peak or something in COVID time, which I guess is when no one was buying out of home sales things anyway. So anyway, that's up. While they're saying flexitarianism is what's doing it. That's the main reason. But out of home meat and fish sales have declined since 2019. Beef down 5%, pork 16%, chicken 5%, fish, seafood 13%, other meats 20%. So it sort of sounds like it's directly going into the plant-based meat sales. That market obviously not nearly the size of those other markets. So I'm sure the net total is just people are doing less spending outside of the house, is what it seems like to me. But as they are doing that, they're also replacing some meat with plant-based meat, and result 48% increase. So no big surprise. We knew that's happening in Europe, but good to see some numbers put to it. All right, a new study in the British Journal of Nutrition has found equally good health outcomes in dogs eating plant-based and meat-based diets. Clinical trial. They split up the dogs into different groups. Experimental extruded vegan food was used for some of these dogs for the vegan group, and they maintained their health parameters. They looked at D2 found in plants, whether that would be as beneficial as vitamin D3 found in meat. They said, yes, it's fine. Maintains the dog's vitamin D levels. I don't see how long of a term this study was on. I'd be curious to know that, because it seems like a lot of these pet studies, they're just like 6 months. Yeah, this is only 3 months long.
Yeah.
So they call it health outcomes, but what they're really looking up is like surrogate outcomes, looking at numbers that will suggest the path that the dog is on based on what these factors look like. But it doesn't mean the dog's health necessarily changed. So you gotta always wonder about that. But anyway, it's reportedly the 10th study to find good health outcomes in dogs fed a plant-based diet. There was one in 2022. And of course, we're seeing the thing recently with cats, which is, I think, much more surprising and controversial. So appears the dogs can eat plant-based diet. But if you didn't believe that, there's other news. UK cultivated pet food company Good Dog Food. They've got a new name. They've rebranded to Meatly, Meatly, kind of like Oatly.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Meatly. Oh, cultivated. Okay. So it is meat. It's just cultivated meat. Got it.
It's cultivated meat. Yeah. I guess. I mean, it's not analogous to Oatly, because Oatly, their stuff is made from oats. So it's this is not really like made from meat. It's an alternative to meat.
It is meat.
It is meat, but that just sounds like you could be a regular dog food brand that uses regular meat, and you can call your company Meatly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they're sort of missing like any sort of interest there. But I don't know. Maybe it sounds like Neatly and they like that. I'm not sure. But they've rebranded. They're apparently working very closely with UK's Food Standards Agency and Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs to obtain approval to commercialize cultivated chicken for the pet food industry. They only do chicken. That's like their thing. They only make the cultivated chicken. They do not use fetal bovine serum or animal products. They get the cells from a chicken egg that they use. Single sample of chicken egg. They don't say how much that makes. I'm sure you need more than one sample for the whole history of the company. But so they said they don't use animal products. I mean, you kind of do if you take the cells from a chicken egg, but the whole rest of the situation is not animal products. So good. I mean, sounds pretty ethical. Like if I was going to eat cultivated chicken, I would like the cells to come from an egg rather than from a chicken. I would feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It sounds like it's closer than I thought to being ready to sell to the public. I didn't see exact details on that, so I don't know. But this seems like we've talked about this before. They mentioned here at the bottom of this thing, Veg Economist does, that almost 50% of cat and dog owners would feed their animals cultivated meat, according to research, whereas only 32% would consider eating it. So we said before that like this pet food market somehow seems like a really good fit for the cultivated meat. Like it just doesn't the weirdness that people might have around this idea. It sort of goes away when you're feeding it to an animal. People just don't seem to.
What does that mean about our opinions of our animals?
Yeah, right. Not that much.
Do you think that like, I mean, that still makes sense to me, and I tend to agree with it, but Do you think that it's actually a bad long-term play? Because now we're just going to be basically associating cultivated meat with dog food.
That's a good point. I mean, not bad for the company. If the company has no plans
Right.
and they'd probably love that. But yeah, that's a good point. Maybe as far as if we want humans to eventually embrace this stuff, then
No, this is
this
the
isn't
junk we
something.
give to the dogs. Like, I'm
That's
not
a
going
really
to
good
eat
point.
that.
That's a great that definitely would be used as an attack on this from the other side. Yeah, I don't know. I do think I think one of the reasons for this, and this doesn't help, but I think when you said like that goes to show you what we think of animals and what we'll feed them. I think the thing is like people probably already assume that like the dog food is disgusting, right? Like no
Yeah.
one
Oh,
would eat a
definitely.
can of dog food, regular uncultivated regular meat dog food. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
they say that meat is just way too gross to eat. I know people do. I know social media people have done that. uh, but
Of course they have.
yeah, but like so they think that's gross. So this cultivated meat maybe seems not any more gross than that, and that's why 50% of people would do it.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I think. I mean, yeah, that makes total sense to me. Like,
But
what
that
even is in dog? Like, if you're getting dog food that has meat in it, pork in it, or something like that, like what even type of pork
right,
is it?
who knows?
What? Right.
Right.
And so no one really bothers to look into that. So the cultivated meat honestly might even make it healthier.
It might, perhaps, very
Mhm.
very possible. Okay, so that's the cultivated meat update. All right, this is kind of funny. A new survey revealed that the majority of vegans would not date a meat eater unless they're willing to
Ooh.
change. This is from Vegly, the world's leading vegan and vegetarian dating app. They surveyed 8,000 users, and 62% of single vegans would rule out dating an ardent meat eater who would never consider removing animal products from their diet.
Mm-hmm.
We had this conversation. I don't know if we talked about never. If you know the person would never remove the meat from their diet, would you consider dating them? I
You
don't think.
asking me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think so. As long as it's all about how it would impact my life, right? My
Yeah.
day to day,
Right.
right? If I have to always cook meat, every time I'm cooking dinner, I have to cook meat, or every time I'm making breakfast, I have to cook meat because
Right.
they require it. Like, then that would be a really tough pill to
Right.
swallow.
It would.
But if they're fine, like not eating much meat or eating when they go out, or kind of cooking their own thing from time to time if they want it at home, like that's much less of an impact on my experience as a vegan. So I think that would be a little bit better to me.
Right. I'm kind of the same. It would not. It would definitely not. I would not rule out dating that person.
Hmm.
If I because I might find that when I dated them, I turned out to really like them, and even if I knew they would never change, I might still say, you know what, I'm really glad that I did that. Now, if it came time to get married or something, I guess you think hard about that. Like my whole life's going to be this. But if you're that close with the person that you're ready to get married, then that probably wouldn't matter. Here's what I think, though, Doug. I think these people, you and I, we grew up in a different era than this era, where people swipe around on the apps and like maybe check a box and say, don't include any brown hair people. I only want blonde hair people on my dating list. Or this, don't
Is that a
include
thing?
non-vegetarians. I don't know. I'm just saying, when there's this many people, right? For us, it wasn't. If you connected with someone, it's
Right.
a chance meeting. It just happened. Like you wouldn't let a thing like their diet prevent you from continuing and just exploring more and seeing if you like each other. But in this, where people are used to having a billion things and they just swipe left or right or whatever,
Hmm.
they just say, yeah, no, I'm not interested if they're not
Yeah.
vegan or not considering it.
Yeah, Mr. Jeffrey points out too, and I was going to do this. I had a similar thought, which was that anyone who is self-selecting already to be on a vegan dating app
Right.
is like looking for other vegans.
Yeah, they're there for
Right.
that
I mean, they
exact
might
reason.
also be on Tinder or whatever, and but they're looking for other vegans. And I
Yeah.
think that I don't know that I would, if I was gonna get on a dating app, I don't know that a vegan dating app would be the first place I'd go, even as a strong vegan
Right.
who
Yeah.
ate
So really
Taco
what we
Bell.
need to know is how many vegan vegetarians choose that as their number one dating app. Because that tells us
Mhm.
how many of them don't want to date a meat eater, rather than surveying that particular audience. Very good point. Veggie, though, took this information and they put a new category called looking for help. So now, if you're a meat eater who just wants to date some vegetarian chicks, you just go on there and put looking for help, and suddenly you probably get all kinds of offers. So
Like, so you can be a meat eater. I'm just saying, like, you're willing to.
right.
Huh.
You basically just have a whole new blue ocean to go to if you are a omnivorous man or woman. You go to this thing and you say, I'm looking for help. And now you just have a whole new category of people who swarm in to help you. And I bet you're a desirable target if you're, there, but they're on there and you're saying, here I am, take me as I am, but I'm changeable.
Yeah.
I think people are going to be all over that.
Well, there you go.
And
there's a dating app for like everything now.
Yeah, right. You can also, if you're a vegan, you can categorize yourself as willing to help, meaning I guess that you would date a person who's open.
If you're on the vegan dating app, are you willing to help? Are you like would you designate yourself as that?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think so. I think everyone on this thing would. I mean, I think almost, maybe I'm wrong here, but I think almost every vegans are out to change people, right? That's what they want to do, is get people to eat this way. So if you can in a one-on-one situation, have someone who like basically signs up to be helped by you and date you, you're going to do that. I don't know if I would, but yeah, I think that'd be an attractive situation to imagine that I'm going to meet someone and you fantasize about you're going to convert them into veganism and end up marrying them.
Yeah, but then like 3 years into your marriage and they're still chowing down on fogo de chao, you're like,
right.
You're just depressed because your initial impression of them was misleading. Juliana says, "What if your non-vegan makes you even happier than your ex-ultra vegan?" Yeah, maybe.
Very possible.
Very possible.
Could end up going the other way. You might have your eyes open and say, you know what? I don't need to be so restrictive. I'm going to be like this person. I'll be a little more free. I'll be mostly vegan, but I'm not going to have rules. Who knows? Brilliant move on the part of Veggie, I think, to add this category. That to me seems like a hot pool of dating going on in that little category. That will increase the use. It will bring omnivores over. Just good move. I don't know if it's good for the couples who do it, who connect that way, but good move on Veggies' part. All right, update, follow-up to last week's story about Doritos developing their noise-canceling app so that the chip crunching wouldn't go through the microphone while gaming. This is from fooddive.com, and they open by saying gaming is synonymous with players snacking on chips and other crunchy options. So I didn't really know that. I kind of assumed gamers did that a lot, but I just thought that was my own little bias, my own picture in my head of a gamer just sitting there, chips flying off their mouth. Anyway, it's an upstart company. It's called Mina Snacks, and they're aiming to fill that desire with better, healthier ingredients. It's a collaboration between Darcy Mackin, who was the CEO of Planterra Foods. That was JBS, one of the big meat packing company. I think they're meat packing. Probably not meat packing. It was a big meat, whatever, distributor type company. And they had this Planterra vegan division. So it's a person who has experience doing plant-based foods with a TikToker, the 10th largest TikTok person in the world. So maybe I'm sorry, not TikTok. Wow. It's Twitch. It's not TikTok.
Twitch. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, which makes much more sense. That's where they stream the games. So maybe our Twitch audience, I don't see them here right now commenting, but maybe this will bring them out of the woodwork. They can tell us if they follow Pokimane, not Pokemon.
Pokimane.
And not Pokemon with the E. It's Pokimane. 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 I don't know what that is. But she has 9.4 million followers. And they're combining. They're selling these things. First product is Midnight Mini Cookies, a poppable chocolate offering with an Oreo-like flavor profile. Made of grain or gluten-free almond, cassava, and coconut flour, white chocolate chips, sea salt, coconut sugar, and mushroom powder.
Powder.
Yeah.
Get that brain juices flowing for your video game.
Right? So they said it tastes good, doesn't leave the consumers feeling guilty after eating an entire bag. It's a little weird. I don't know if these are plant-based vegan products. Maybe they are. Original Oreos are, of course, but this is different. The bag, I saw the picture of the bag. It doesn't really look like, nothing about it says this is for gamers. So I think they're just making a healthy snack, and then they're going to have this gaming streamer, Pokimane, promoting it. And that's why it's a gaming snack.
This is kind of funny. I just Googled midnight mini cookies, and the first article that comes up is Pokemon's cookie brand under fire as fans spot near identical cookie at Costco.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know Pokemon. I'm just not that surprised that that sort of thing would happen. You just do a little white label sort of situation, get someone to promote it. You know, it happens all the time.
They look good. They're very dark. Yeah, it does not say vegan on the front.
Okay. I mean, the gamers probably don't care about vegan for the most part.
Yeah.
They care about gaming. Care about a little healthier. I can eat the whole bag and still feel like I'm healthy. All right, and then PepsiCo, who this is no longer gaming related, who is the owner of Doritos, and that's who funded this noise canceling chip crunching app thing. They, unrelated note, are now aiming for 75% of their global convenient foods portfolio volume to be below or meet category sodium targets by 2030, and increase the use of ingredients such as legumes, whole grains, plant-based proteins, fruits and vegetables, and nuts and seeds. This is in products like Doritos and Fritos because that's their biggest snacks they have.
Hey, that's cool.
So yeah, so within 7 years, I mean, I guess in a way that's the same motivations as Pokemon and their partner have.
Yeah,
trying to make gaming foods healthier, just snack foods healthier. So kind of cool.
That's kind of cool. You know, so I don't listen to Joe Rogan, but an interview with him and a new interview with him and Elon Musk from a week or two ago came up as I was scrolling through Instagram, little clip, and they were eating a pizza while talking into their microphones, and it was one of the most disgusting things I've ever listened to. Like it was unlistenable, and it made me think about that Dorito thing. And like, if people are truly snacking the whole time they're playing, you know, first person shooter games, then there's just no way I could do it. I mean, I would have to have a noise canceling Dorito.
Yeah,
canceling.
You're right. That does sound gross for sure. I'm surprised they would put that out on Joe Rogan. Why were they eating pizza? Was that like part of the bit?
They were talking about a pizza somehow, and Elon was like, "We should order one." And since their episodes are 4 hours long or whatever, they just ordered pizza and got it, and we're just like chowing down. I mean, it was gross. It was so gross.
Yeah, that is pretty gross. All right, good. So there you go. There's your weather report. That's all the news. We'll keep you posted as the gaming snack foods stories develop and we hear more about Beyond Meat, whether they go under or not.
Man, the weather report is just popping this week.
It really has been. We'll see about tomorrow though. I feel like tomorrow we might be run out of stories. It seems to happen a lot on Thursdays. By midweek, I don't know. We've gone through everything that accumulated over the weekend. We'll see. Anyway, here's our article today. And then tomorrow, I think we'll talk about Thanksgiving because Veg News put up a big 24-course Thanksgiving vegan recipe thing. So we'll look at those. We'll pick out the best ones so that you have ample time to use that information in planning your own Thanksgiving feast, which is only a week away from tomorrow. But today, what we are doing is what we wanted to get to yesterday. It's from dailymail.co.uk. Usually kind of anti-vegan in their slant, but they also sometimes have surprisingly pro-vegan lines inserted into the articles. Like a plant-based diet is known to prevent these certain diseases or whatever. Anyway, this one says, is vegan food really healthier than meat? Top nutritionist Rob Hobson compares plant-based burgers, chicken, and meat, all those are in quotes, and meat pies, with the real thing. And the results will surprise you. And then in the bullets, I mean, you get the sense as you read this that it's not going to be pro-vegan because it says, first of all, they capitalized really. Is vegan food really healthier than meat? Which they do all the time. It's the only outlet I know that always puts capitalization in their headlines and also still tries to be like a real news outlet. One of their bullets right under the article, like kind of a sub-headline sort of thing, says, vegans eat more ultra-processed foods than meat eaters, research suggests. And that, I believe, I have seen that research before. And that's just basically saying that, basically because anyone who's vegan, if you eat any fake meats and things compared to someone who's eating real meat, you're eating an ultra-processed food and they aren't. So if otherwise the diets are kind of similar as far as number of snack foods and all that, then the vegans are going to get more ultra-processed food.
Yeah.
And that's a legitimate knock on the diet. That is a problem. I don't like that. But it's the truth. So anyway, This person, Rob Hobson, who's doing their thing, they call him a top nutritionist. I don't know if that's true, but he does have a book out called Unprocess Your Life, Break Free from Ultra Processed Foods for Good. So that's cool. He's a registered nutritionist, advisor for the supplement brand HealthSpan. Don't know, is that a competitor, Doug? Do we know HealthSpan?
I don't know HealthSpan, no.
You got a good name. It's a good term.
Yeah.
That, I mean, it means it's a term. It's a term in use. It's a good name. Anyway, so there's not a whole lot of like context here other than they made a bunch of kind of infographics like 100% beef burger versus plant burger. And then they put all the nutritions, they looked at calories, fat, saturates, which I guess is just saturated fat, sugars, salt, and protein. And they compared these things. And then number of ingredients is also listed on the chart, including any especially kind of bad or high-tech sounding ones. And they go through a bunch of different foods, and then he says which one wins. So the spoiler here what I like is it doesn't end up being everything in favor of the meat, the real animal meat. Yeah. And that's good. That made me think this is a legitimate thing. And it's not all vegan either. Again, which is why I think it's legitimate. It's sort of a fair comparison. So we'll just look at each one rather quickly. Number one, 100% beef burger versus the plant burger. The numbers are very similar down the chart. I feel like it's a protein. 18 grams for the meat one and 3 grams for the plant burger. But the plant burger is made of rice and pea protein.
I think it's supposed to be 13 because they're tied.
I do too.
If it was 3, it would be in the red, right?
Oh, you're right. They made them both green.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also thought it was a typo because they didn't, in the analysis of it, the text analysis, they don't mention the protein being way different. And you'd think they'd be all over that. So yeah, and by the way, they call calories energy, which they are. But it almost sounds positive the way they say it. The plant burger is a little higher in energy, but both offer a good source of protein. So I think maybe in the UK, energy is sort of synonymous with calories, and people assume it is bad to get energy from your food. But I don't.
I hate energy. Yeah, too much energy in this food of mine.
The other thing, the plant burger has 18 ingredients. The beef burger has 7. So there's your UPF. More of that in plant-based foods than others. And no mention here of, although they do in the beginning of the article, they mention that they say, yet diets high in red meat and processed meat, such as bacon and ham, also increase the risk of risk of diseases such as colorectal cancer, cardiovascular disease, and diabetes. So they do mention that there, but they don't mention that here. So I think they're sort of assuming this burger is not processed red meat.
Which, if it has 7 ingredients, wouldn't it be processed?
I don't really know.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think so.
Like,
I think it's
that is the one flaw. I like this article a lot, actually. But that is kind of the one flaw. It's like you get down here and it compares the two. The plant-based option is no healthier nutritionally than the beef burger, and is more ultra processed. And so no healthier nutritionally. Like only if you're looking at fat, saturated sugars, and salt and protein, then yeah, like I can see where you get that. But like, if you're looking at some of the other research around processed red meat and things like that, I mean, I think that and looking at deeper meaning of nutrition, then I think that's not necessarily true.
Right. And I thought the same thing, but they do, when it comes time for ham, they do say that because processed deli meats like that are linked with these diseases, they end up going with the plant-based option.
Yeah.
So I think they are accounting for that, and they're just saying this is that. And I guess, you can look at the research however you want. People can spin it in different ways. A lot of plant-based people will say, well, all meat is going to cause cancer more than plants are. But like the meat side is not going to agree with that statement. And there's evidence that that's not true. It just depends which research you weigh more heavily.
Yeah.
So it just depends.
Here's a question. I mean, I think we can all agree that like whole foods in their whole form are best for you, right? But if you're gonna eat a processed burger that has 10 ingredients or 20 ingredients, does that really matter? Like, do ingredients, the number of ingredients, really matter?
I don't know. I have no idea. The percentage of the food that is those extra ingredients matters, but we don't know that. From the number of ingredients,
right? Because I don't really buy that like 18 ingredients is inherently worse than 7 ingredients.
I would tend to think that it is for me.
Okay.
I would assume that food has more likely to have something in it that I do not want to have. But like I said, the percentages and the amounts of these things, it could be in 3% of the food is made up of fake ingredients in both of those products. One of them happens to have 25 ingredients crammed into that small. And who knows? Anyway, they end up going with the beef burger on that one. They sort of ignore the sodium thing. I mean, salt we have 400 milligrams or 0.4 grams in the plant burger and 600 milligrams in the beef burger. That's a third less salt or 50% more salt if you want to go the other way. That's a lot. That's a big difference. So to call them the same is interesting to me. But whatever. I don't totally disagree. I don't know what's better as far as a regular burger versus a plant burger. I can't totally pick as far as health goes.
Yeah. Mr. Jeffrey's making my point. I should have said that too. Like, what if all 18 ingredients were veggies, right?
True.
Like that's what I'm saying. Is I don't think more ingredients is inherently bad. It, obviously it could be if they're all bad ingredients,
right?
But I don't like that we're kind of obsessing around ingredient counts when we look at different foods.
Yep, that is fair. All right, on to the next. Chicken nuggets versus vegan nuggets. The chicken nuggets have 12 ingredients. The vegan nuggets have 25. Calories, fat, saturates, they're sort of the same. The plant one does have twice as much sugar, more than twice as much sugar, and more salt. So this is bad. Glancing at this, I'm going to say they're going to go with the chicken. And also they use a very cheap brand of chicken nuggets in this. They don't say what brand of plant nuggets they use, but they're probably all cheap or not going to look similar ingredient list. Unless they did meaty foods, they don't have too many of that stuff. But anyway, let's see. They end up going with chicken nuggets. And I think it's mainly for the things that we said. The vegan option has more calories, more salt, more sugar. So you can see, I mean, it loses 4 of the categories out of 5. So I see why they made that choice. Again, you have to be operating under the assumption that chicken isn't, going to have some long-term health risk that just, we can't quantify in these things.
Right.
And that's debatable for sure. All right, here's where the tide turns a little bit. Ham versus meat-free ham, which is made with soy and pea protein. They're pretty even when it comes to the nutrition, right? The plant has way less salt, half as much salt, but it has twice as much sugar. So kind of a trade-off there. Similar calories, similar protein. Well, less protein in the plant-based one. But anyway, they end up going with the vegan ham here, and this is where they are talking about the processed meat. They say the World Cancer Research Fund advises limiting processed meat consumption as it is associated with a higher risk of colorectal cancer, and that's by way of the nitrates used to preserve the meat. So that wouldn't necessarily be part of a regular beef burger the way it would with deli meats. So it was for that. And then they said a large systematic review of prospective studies found that processed meat consumption associated with a 21% increased risk of colon cancer, 22% increased risk of rectal cancer. So those are significant numbers. And he kind of says they're both not good foods, but the vegan ham's the better because it doesn't have that risk with it.
Yep.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. All right, couple more here. Chicken and mushroom pie versus vegan chicken and mushroom pie. Made with soy protein. I don't know who eats these things, what this is, where you get this. I guess this is like a frozen meal you'd buy and then bake in your microwave or in your toaster for like 45 minutes.
I grew up eating like chicken pot pie, like frozen chicken pot pie.
Did you?
Yeah.
This would be a chicken pot pie? Is it?
I mean, that's pretty similar to one, yeah.
Okay. So 25 ingredients versus 20 ingredients, vegan versus the animal. The plant-based loses every category. Way more fat, 20% more calories, more sugar, more salt, slightly less protein. So yeah, loses all the way.
The problem with this comparison though is like you could just get a different brand and it probably would have much different numbers.
Yeah, probably. That is tricky. The winner here is neither. I thought they would go with the chicken one, and this shows a non-bias, and I like this is why we're doing this article because they're being fair at least. I mean, not even fair. Maybe they're being on the vegan side by saying that neither's a winner. They're both really bad. That's the reason here. But that, if the goal was prove a point, then they would just say, well, the vegan version loses because it's worse.
Right.
So he's trying to be fair here. Chicken tenders versus vegan chicken tenders. I mean, that's the same thing as the nuggets, right? Is there any difference between the two things? He picks the chicken tenders, not surprisingly, since he picked the chicken nuggets. The info looks similar to what it did on that one. So there you have it. I mean, I don't know. Did we learn anything? Not really. We sort of thought plant-based meats weren't healthy to begin with, but maybe a little healthier than meats in some contexts. And I think I still feel the same way.
I mean, I think that those types of comparisons are good, and for a couple of reasons. One, I think it highlights the fact that like just because it's plant-based, just because it's vegan, I guess, doesn't make it healthy, which I think is important for people to understand. Mm-hmm. But also that there are times when you shouldn't look at the ingredient list, or you shouldn't look at, or not the ingredient, the like number of ingredients, or those things that like are real popular right now on TikTok. Seed oils or whatever, because there's other reasons why it might still be a healthier alternative to the meat version.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the good use case for those things, now that we're sort of, I think, past the idea that the mainstream people are just going to adopt plant-based foods because they're plant-based and it's better for the environment, better for animals, all this stuff. But that's not going to happen, or it appears not to be happening. So now a nice use case is like now and then make a swap when it probably is the healthier choice. And what they've done in this article at least is identified one spot where that's the case. When it comes to processed type meats, and by the way, they mentioned ham there, but processed meats also includes things like bacon, which people probably aren't going to want to replace. But there are other processed meats that you could do a nice swap for a vegan one. Mm-hmm. So there you go. And then they give some tips on
giving your vegan diet some baboom, whatever that means.
I don't know what that. Yeah, it's probably it's basically the spot where they can advertise for health spans supplements because
of course
they mentioned their elite vitamin B12 there, of course, and they mentioned some other stuff, omega-3s and stuff. So you could also use Complement to do those same jobs if that was your.
You probably should. I mean, honestly,
I'd say so. Yeah. I bet Complement's better than health spans labels.
Aaron Jenkins on YouTube says Dr. Chris Gardner of Stanford has done some amazing work on this topic, comparing plant meat to real meat.
Yes, that is true. He was on Mr. Roll podcast about maybe 3-4 months ago. His stuff is really interesting. The problem with that thing, though, that specific work is that Beyond Meat funded it. And Gardner claims that he's very strict about this stuff. And he sort of, it was, I don't know if it was written down ahead of time or what, but he said this would have been published whether or not it came out in favor of Beyond Meat versus the regular meat. And I think that was agreed upon in advance. So hopefully that is true. But anyway, the Beyond Meat did prove to be better in some cases, often moving the needle with markers because there was only 8-week studies, I think. Maybe it was 16 weeks total, 8 on each type of meat. But anyway, he has some really cool stuff. I like his approach to a lot of things.
Sweet.
Yeah. Brandon Turner says, agree with Mr. Jeffrey. Brandon Turner also agrees with Mr. Jeffrey that we should have the show 5 days a week again. He put that earlier, that it should be 5 days when we said we'd gone from 5 to 3, which we'll see. The announcement remains pending.
You have to, if you want 5 more, the best way to get the Plant-Based Morning Show to get to be 5 days a week is to leave us reviews in Apple, share us so our numbers go up, and buy Compliment. Those are, if you can do those 3 things.
Yeah, you can do those. Or you can go back, look at iTunes, just scroll really far back to a year ago, November 16th, and pick that recipe on Friday when you're missing it. Just put Friday, November 16th of last year, and it'll be roughly the same content. And it'll be the same thing. It might be some stuff that's a little bit out of date, but mostly same jokes, same topics. We'll be talking about Thanksgiving food. Mm-hmm. So that's really the best thing you can do. Or the easiest thing you can do. Better would be to buy Compliment, leave positive reviews and all that.
Yeah. And smash that like button. I don't know if you've done that today. Give this video some love.
That's right. Smash that like button.
Mr. Jeffrey says, turns out funding of studies typically does not produce any skew in the results. I assume there was a study on that, maybe.
I don't think that's true. But I don't want to doubt Mr. Jeffrey because I'm sure he's got a source saying that is right. But I have seen things saying the opposite. But who knows? Who knows what's right? Good book, by the way. Bad Science. I'm going to type it in the chat here. I should hold up the book. I liked this book so much that I went and bought a hardcover out of print earlier edition that came out in 2008 because it had more chapters in it that were not in my newest edition of the book. So check it out.
Wow.
Ben's Bad Science by Ben Goldacre. It's about precisely these types of issues, whether funding and this publication bias showing that like apparently only like 1% of negative reviewed studies where the outcome is negative, where it's not in favor of the hypothesis, only 1% of those are published versus a whole lot more of the when the outcome is in favor of the hypothesis, meaning the more sensational sort of interesting information is going to be published, whereas things that are not that interesting, they're not going to get published even in scientific journals, which makes sense, but it also means we end up with data that is skewed towards the interesting. So there you go. All right. That's it. That's the show. Almost an hour today. So who needs Fridays and Mondays when you get every now and then an hour-long episode?
There you go. Just listen to it in over 2 days. You're good to go.
Yeah. All right. No, I'm just kidding. We like this show. It is fun to do the show. I would love to be able to do the show 5 days a week and justify doing that. So like Doug said, that really is what it comes down to. If we can say this show is worth it to the brand and our time, Doug could be off writing emails right now, but he's not. He's here doing this. So anyway, that is the truth. So thanks for listening. I would love for the show to get to 5 days a week. That would be awesome to get back to that.
Me too.
But right now it's not. Okay. So thanks. Enjoy your Wednesday, your hump day, as it were. And we'll be back tomorrow with some Thanksgiving stuff.
Yeah.
Before that pre-Thanksgiving weekend before a shortened week.
Do you do any like long-term fasting or something before Thanksgiving?
No way. I'm trying to put on muscle. I eat as much as I possibly can right now.
Oh, right. Oh yeah, we got to get an update on that. Maybe tomorrow you can share a little update on your.
Tomorrow is my 3-week day that I'm in, 3 weeks in. So on that day, I will reveal exactly how many pounds I have gained.
Mr. Jeffrey says, I've seen Doug's emails and this is better content. I don't disagree. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
See you tomorrow.
Yes, thanks.